Hello everybody, in this video we're going to look at variables and assignments, which is topic 3.1 on the AP CSP exam. We'll have explanations and a few practice MCQs. Alright, let's get going. So if you're here watching this video, you're probably taking the AP CSP exam, and you might have learned JavaScript or Python or even Scratch as part of that. But the exam itself is in a different language, which we will call the AP CSP Pseudocode. Why? Because AP CSP does not force its people to use a specific computer language. So they use this pseudocode language, which is kind of like all of your computing languages, but a little bit different at the same time. Khan Academy has a nice conversion table of the AP CSP pseudocode for Python and for JavaScript. But for this lesson right here, we're only going to look at one thing here, and that's that arrow. When you see an arrow pointing left, that means equal. So if you used Python or JavaScript and you saw an equal, for the AP CSP pseudocode, it's going to be the arrow. Of all the things in the AP CSP pseudocode, this is the trickiest one to internalize. So I'm going to repeat it again. Arrow pointing left means equals. Every time you see the arrow, think equals. This AP CSP topic also has a few other things they want you to know, and the first has to do with good variable names. So as an example, if I have a variable that stands for the name of a cat, cat underscore name or cat name are good variable names because it's obvious what those names stand for. Blarg is obviously terrible. Whiskers is bad because the cat might change. This is a common beginner mistake. And cats is also bad because it's not obvious if it's a single cat or multiple cats. Again, a common beginner mistake. If I need a variable to see if the light is on or is light on, are good variable names, whereas ooga booga is again obviously terrible. Legit on is bad because it's not readable. This is a common mistake. In the quest to shorten variable names, people will end up with some bad variable names. Finally, light would not be that great either because it's not obvious if we're measuring if the light is on or off, or maybe instead there's a dimmer switch that goes from 0 to 100. So this is an example of where you really want to be precise with variable names. And the last piece of info from this topic that I'll go over is data types. AP CSP uses number, string, and Boolean, which will be super familiar if you're coming from JavaScript. But if you're coming from Scratch, you'll have to learn these. And if you're coming from Python, just know that number is what you get when you combine float and integer into one type. And with that, on to the practice questions. A programmer needs a variable to store whether a user has enabled notifications, which is the most appropriate and clear variable name. A and C are short but totally unclear, so they are not the answer. D notification could work, but the best answer is B, is user notification on. It's super clear what that stands for, and that's the answer you want. Question 2 is basically the same question, but we're asking this time, what variable type do we want? So C, list is really bad. Lists are plural, and this is not something that's plural. A and B could work, but the best answer is D. If you ever have a variable that can only be true or false, yes or no, Boolean is going to be the best choice for a variable. Question 3 gives you a code segment and asks which value is displayed. Display in AP CSP pseudocode just means print. So there is a strategy to solving all of these kind of problems, and that is this. Always write it down. I have maybe, 5% of the kids in my class that can do it in their heads. You're probably not one of them. Write it down always. So we start with the first line, file status is equal to readable. Then we go to the second line, access mode is equal to write only. The third line says the file status is equal to whatever access mode is, which is write only. And then we display file status, which is write only. So our answer here is B. And this process of writing it down is how we solve all of this style of problem. All right, next one up is a little bit harder. Step 1, container left is equal to apples. Next up, container right is equal to oranges. Next up, temporary holder is equal to container left, which is equal to apples. Next up, container left is equal to container right, which is oranges, so that changes container left. Next up, container right is equal to temporary holder, which is apples. So then we print out container left and container right, and we get D. This, by the way, is the swap algorithm, which is super common in all the practice questions that we see for the AP exam. To do the swap algorithm, you need a temporary third variable, which in this case is temporary holder. Even though it shows up all the time on the AP CSP exam, I don't think you really have to memorize it. Just remember, always write it down. Always write it down. Question 5, a similar type of problem. Step 1, data val equals to 75. Step 2, temp val is equal to data val, which is 75. Step 3, data val is equal to 100, and we're printing out temp val. Temp val is 75, so the answer is A. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Hope that was useful to you, and if it was, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.